We're going. Your GPU tips high?
Yeah, it's at like 72,
Jeez.
and I have my fan at 100%.
I mean, when I play Warzone, everybody's like, "Hey, yo, your GPU kind of toasty though," and like it's like chilling around like 75.
Dude, so whenever I have my RX 580 rig going, the temps are at they're in the 50s because I undervolt everything, and each card performs the same as my 1080 Ti for mining. It's insane, and it's like not even the same wattage. It's like half of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So this week we're talking about the end of the world.
Ooh,
And I got that idea because during my stream today we watched a video that Lemino did, and it was about the different ways that the world could end. And it went through everything from like asteroids to pandemics to like natural disasters to man-made
pollution.
disasters, yeah, to environmental stuff. So it was really interesting. And then
Yeah.
I had talked to Chris about it. Is that my phone? I don't
What?
know. I don't know if that. I don't think the mic picked that up or not. But I was talking to my wife last night because I saw a TikTok where the guy was talking about how we went to from DefCon 4 to DefCon 3 and nobody's talking about it. So
Well, because apparently, like the big thing is because I looked it up and I saw an article about it, and apparently we we as citizens do not know when we hit DEFCON 3 unless someone says something. So they're probably trying to keep it under wraps just because they don't want people freaking out. We've already had enough panic over the past year that if something else happens, we're just gonna go into chaos, right? People are gonna buy toilet paper and no one else is gonna be able to get it and stuff like that. Graphics
yeah,
cards are gonna go up double the price there right now.
I need
It's
toilet
just
paper.
crap like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't even know what to say about that because for a while I've been like, yeah, something's probably gonna happen soon, but I don't know.
I mean, people on TikTok, I've seen them saying all kinds of stuff, but everybody in the comments is like, I tried to find stuff on this and I can't find it. But the TikTokers just comment or they make videos and claim that the reason why you can't find it is because the media is censoring it. Like as soon as something gets posted, they take it down. And that this guy's getting his information from somebody at the news or something, you know? And basically the stuff that I've been hearing is that China, this is super conspiracy. I'm not saying I believe this. I'm just saying that's what they're saying on TikTok. Um, China started World War III by causing the pandemic, like that they purposely let out the coronavirus to mess with the economies around the world. Which, if that's what they were actually trying to do, I would say it worked. I mean, all kinds of stuff is out of stock. I know that I have a lot of military friends who are talking about how you can't get ammo or guns right now. It's like impossible. If you go to a gun shop and try to buy ammo, if they have any ammo, you're limited to like 2 boxes, which is like maybe 100 rounds, you know, and it's range ammo. If you're buying hollow points, it's like maybe 40 rounds. So, and hollow points is what you want for self defense, obviously. So
Wait, so is it limited because people aren't making it, or are they limiting it? Are they limiting it because they want to make sure that the military has enough?
I mean, they're as far as I'm told, they're limited. It's hard to get because the coronavirus caused a lot of the factories that make ammo and guns themselves to be hard to get. And then
Yeah,
once
guns are
Biden,
hard to make.
well, once Biden took office, there was like a huge rush to buy guns because everybody's always afraid that, you know, once a Democrat gets elected, it's going to cause a bunch of gun control stuff. And so right now, apparently an AR-15, like a good one, is really hard to come by. So
Yeah, and like I mean, obviously not to get political or anything, but he's also done a lot of those like bans and stuff like that recently. And I mean, like I doubt someone's gonna get one of those so they can like defend themselves against like the Reds or something like that, right? but like, because this is the freaking '60s, but um, I mean, still like it does definitely affect things a lot. So yeah, I guess I understand why everything's kind of crazy right now. But dude, I don't know, like end of the world, bro. That's I mean it's kind of
No, not the end of the world. The end of the world was just a general kind of idea of what we were going to talk about because I also wanted to talk about like other ways the world can end. Because one of the things that video mentioned was that if there were to be right now the biggest risk pandemic wise is if the bird flu if there was a strain of the bird flu that mutated to the point where it could spread human to human, because right now it can only spread from bird to human. So people get the bird flu and it doesn't spread to other people. Like it happens all the time. People who clean like bird poop off of roofs and stuff get it. But if it were to jump from human to human all of a sudden, we could lose like 1.7 billion people. That's how bad it would be.
Well, what even is the bird flu? I've never even heard of like what it actually causes.
I don't know much about it. I just know that like the avian flu has always been something that people say. I don't know what it is about birds, but something that has to do with that causes it to be way more lethal than other viruses. So,
it says bird flu, cough, fever, sore throat, muscle aches, headaches, shortness of breath. What the? But that sounds, yeah, it sounds like a freaking flu.
yeah.
Why is bird flu dangerous to humans? Let's see. It leads to a particularly severe form of pneumonia that leads to viral pneumonia and multi-organ failure and many people who become infected. So in other words,
kind
yeah,
of like Corona, but on steroids.
yeah, yeah, it's Corona that can fly. It's ridiculous, dude.
That's crazy.
But because that's always been like one of the big things is like an illness that can take out like a huge portion of the population, because that crap's always changing and always evolving, and it happens fast.
Yeah.
And Bill Gates always talks about that. That's why he was so worried about COVID.
Well, I mean, the scary thing about viruses is like the Spanish flu. It was very similar where the Spanish flu showed up, killed a lot of old people, right? Elderly people. And then it kind of went away, and then it came back the following winter and mainly killed young people. So it mutated and became way more lethal for young people because the young people are the only ones that were still passing it, because anybody who was elderly that got it usually died. So those people weren't infecting other people anymore. But all the young people were getting it and they were fine. So they were still spreading it, and so eventually it mutated to the point where it only killed the younger people. Like it was most lethal to them. And so like
that means that the same thing could happen with COVID, right?
Well, it's possible. I've been seeing, because people keep coming in and they're like, "Oh, did you hear about this court trial? Did you hear about this?" And I'm like, I don't really pay attention to the news. But what I do pay attention to is Corona. That's about it. Like that's the only thing I haven't paid attention too much to all the new Biden stuff. Like I heard about the gun control stuff just because of friends and PKA. Yeah. But that's about it as far as Biden. Like I haven't heard too much about his other policies that he's messing with or anything. But where was I going with that? Oh, I do hear, oh, there's a new strain over here. There's a new strain over there. There's a new strain that we think is in New York, But apparently there's a strain in Canada. And because of that, right now there's I think, is it Toronto or Ontario? I think it's Ontario. Ontario is like bad lockdown right now, and nobody's talking about it.
Wasn't that double mutation that they were talking about?
Something like that. All I know is that they have it locked down to the point where like no, they turned off the cell service. At least that's what I heard.
Yeah. Ontario.
Yeah. And I saw videos on TikTok where it was like people rioting against being in lockdown, because basically Canada went back to like no masks, everything's fine.
Right.
And then Ontario is just all of a sudden just shooting up in cases and deaths. And they're super worried about it, so they put everything on like super strict lockdown, curfew. And so there's been like riots, and to try and stop people from organizing these riots and stuff like that, they shut off the cell service.
See, the thing is, I've never had an issue with lockdown because I'm always inside anyways. But like, when I hear stuff, I'm like, what the? Like, I guess and because it's like they're kind of trying to control everything,
Well,
right? But like,
so when I was in San Fran, we went into a legit lockdown. Like you were not supposed to be out. You weren't supposed to be driving about unless you could prove that you were going somewhere important, like going to. Which I mean, they didn't really enforce because it's like all you have to do is be like, "Oh, I'm going to Target," you know, because there's stores everywhere. Wow, somebody really redeemed a Muñaño.
Mañaño.
Yeah, Muñaño. Um, but yeah, it because I was considered essential. It was so weird, dude, driving through like San Francisco just to like a somewhat empty highway or freeway, I mean. Because, you know, it's always bad traffic there. So it was eerie, especially at night after like duty and stuff.
You're having to stop and go every 5 freaking minutes.
My roommates were just mad because all the fast food places closed like super early. They'd be closed at like 7.
Can't get your freaking Big Macs and Whoppers.
Can't get your Wendy's. I'm trying to say and like less.
Really soggy meter stencil.
I've been trying to cut back on saying filler words. It's hard though.
I say a lot.
I do too. And like. I say like really bad.
Where does that word come from?
It's just it is exactly what I said, a filler word. Like you're using it to fill empty space because it feels awkward to leave silence. So you're supposed to get comfortable with silence, and you're supposed to be comfortable talking slower because if you talk slower, it gives you a more of a chance to come up with what to say next, you know, and get your point across.
Your words are a little bit more clear as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to work on that too, because when I get excited or I have a lot to say, I will start talking fast, and all of a sudden you start hearing and like a ton. Yeah. And I go back and watch podcasts, and I notice it a lot. So.
Oh, I do it way too much, bro. But people always complain about me talking too fast. Or like, dude, you should be a rapper. No. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So what I was getting at earlier, though, was on TikTok, they're talking about how there was Chinese troops, a large amount of Chinese troops who went to Canada for some training exercise, and the training has been over for a couple months, and they didn't leave. You hear that?
No, I didn't.
Oh. Little man was playing, and my wife was like, said like, she said Dad is working, and he's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, he'll do something, and my wife will say she's not happy with him. She's like, I'm not happy with you right now, and he says, Mama, I happy you. And I keep telling him, I'm like, hey, that is not a thing. You can't make somebody. You can't just like snap your fingers and all of a sudden you're happy now. Like, you know, leave Mama alone. Because he'll like upset her by doing something he's not supposed to, and he'll like run up to her, I happy you, like trying to like, you know, like stop her from being sad about it or angry, you know, frustrated.
It's gonna be a superpower when he grows up. He's gonna happy people.
I happy you.
Happy you. Oh, thank you.
But yeah, they were talking about how we're at DEF CON 3 and that there are right now supposedly, which the news is not reporting on, more Chinese troops in Canada than there are Canadian troops.
Whoa. Well, I don't get why the training was even in Canada.
I don't know. I have no idea.
He said wee.
Whatever. Oh, wee.
Oh. But I mean, for context, because I was looking this up, so we haven't been at DEF CON 3 since 9/11. Okay?
We have.
So it's been we haven't been at DEF CON 3
I thought you said we have since 9/11. I was like, damn. Okay, I was wrong. But what does that mean then? Because the other thing they were saying is that Russia right now has been mobilizing troops near the Ukrainian border. And so some are saying that it almost seems like a mobilization for a coordinated attack or invasion. Which technically a military invasion is one of the things that fits that definition is mobilizing more troops than there are in another country than that country has. So they're saying technically at that point China has invaded Canada. But like I said to our listeners, I cannot confirm any of this because you can't find any of it in the news. Like if you look up Chinese troops in Canada, it's all stuff from December. But I see these people on TikTok showing articles from like days ago. And then people in the comments saying I can't find it, and the person saying they were taken down. So who knows?
What?
What's going on?
So okay, DuckDuckGo, like I said.
What's DuckDuckGo?
You don't know what DuckDuckGo is?
No.
You haven't been catching up on your Joe Rogan lately?
Nope.
So DuckDuckGo, they're saying that or Joe Rogan at least says it's better than Google because, they're. What the? Oh, never mind. So, he said it's not as censored as Google, for example.
Okay.
So I went on there and I looked up Chinese troops in Canada, and the first thing that pops up, it says it's from Snopes, so it's credible, but I don't know how recent it is.
Because I saw articles.
So this is actually not very recent, and it says not true, but it's not recent.
Yeah, the articles these people are showing on TikTok are literally from like the past couple days.
From the past couple days.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no way you can say that they didn't like altercate them or fabricate articles because people do that all the time to try and scare people.
Okay, from the watchtowers.org, it says that's from 2020. Yahoo News.
Oh, Yahoo.
China scolds Canada over Parliament support of Halifax security. What the? This isn't. All I'm saying, China's been scary lately, though, bro.
Yeah, I mean, we've been in a trade war with them for the last 4 years, haven't we?
Dude, you know what scares the crap out of me the most, though? That thing with Jack Ma.
What's that? You gotta school me up.
He's the dude that created. He's the guy who created Alibaba. He was the richest dude in China, second richest dude in the world, I think. Besides, I don't know if he's the second richest person in the world or just richest person in China, but dude, bro, he legit, he badmouthed the government and then he just disappeared.
Well,
richest dude in China, by the way.
Have you heard the horror stories of COVID in China?
With them sanitizing the entire streets and killing people who.
No, the media censorship and cover up stuff.
No.
So, I mean, Joe Rogan has been criticized about talking about it because it's considered a conspiracy, but there is no evidence that can really debunk whether the virus came from a lab, like whether it, And
yeah.
One of the things is that China really censored where it came from. They right away blamed it on a wet market, right? And stuff like that. But like they said, this wet market is literally right next to this lab. It's just too much of a coincidence.
Well, dude, freaking Wuhan University, that place is I think Wuhan in general is where a lot of the smart crap happens. Because you know where else? Or actually, no. You know what else they came up with over there? They made electric jets for the first time in Wuhan.
Electric jets?
Like electric jet engines.
Are those used yet?
No, because it's technology that doesn't exist yet. They figured it out. It's when I say doesn't exist yet, I mean it's not actually out there being used. But there's a whole article that I found about it, and there's a whole paper they have. But
right.
Legit, I think what it was is it's they used compressed air. Yeah, it's a plasma jet engine. So it says the prototype device, built by a team of scientists from the Institute of Technological Sciences at Wuhan University, uses air and electricity to generate propulsion under laboratory conditions. I think what it was is it's compressed air, and then they use a microwave to turn that air into plasma, and then they shoot it, and it creates like a pretty good amount of thrust. It's insane, bro.
Would that be faster than a normal jet?
It's not about it being faster. I think it's actually supposed to be like
More efficient?
comparable. That, but think about how jets work. You have to actually use fuel.
Yes,
Here
and
you would use air,
jet fuel is super expensive.
and it contributes to a lot of pollution.
Yep.
So that's why it'd be a good idea. And electric jets are a big step towards like getting out of that point of no return situation.
Yeah.
With warming and stuff like that. So
Yeah, and then the other thing was there were the whistleblowers, they call them, right?
Yeah.
And it was basically people that tried to report on what was really going on in China during the whole COVID, like the peak of it. And it sounds like it was just censorship to the max. Like they really just try to keep anything from getting out. Because I remember seeing videos on Reddit and they would be taken down. Like I would go to show somebody, I would try to send it to a friend and he'd be like, it doesn't work. And then I look and it's already gone. And it was literally nurses in hospitals saying about how they like are running out of gloves and respirators and all this stuff like that. And that there's literally just people laying in the hallways because they don't have any more beds. You know, like it was bad. At the peak of it in China, it was bad.
Well, you've played Fallout before, but you don't remember any of like the lore, do you? So in Fallout, even though it's supposed to be like 1950 style and stuff like that, what happened was Russia, like they still collapsed, and then China took over, just like in real life, right? But they were the ones that ended up invading because they needed oil.
Okay.
And we had discovered fusion. You're probably like, okay, why is this relevant? Because it's the exact same thing that's happening where they ended up invading and then crap happens because they don't have enough resources. I think that's what's happening. Because if they have such a high population density and stuff like that, and they don't have enough resources to support that, they're gonna be in trouble. So, yeah.
And they outnumber everybody, right? How many people live in China?
Population of China, and I'm gonna look at the population of India because I think that might be.
They're close. Yeah.
1.366 billion in India, 1.398 billion in China.
And I mean, India doesn't have any problems with anybody, do they?
China.
Really?
Yeah.
Did not know that. I mean, it makes sense.
That's why, like, if we were to go to war with China, India would probably hop in. Which, honestly, although like, there's plenty of memes about like Indian scammers and stuff like that. I would be more than happy to team up with them because they're smart people.
Yeah, they definitely have some smart people.
Yeah.
I was actually reading something and it was talking about how World War III might play out if it happened today.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about how South Korea would 100% use it as an excuse to invade North Korea and just take over because they're so done with their shit.
That's fair.
I mean, dude, I don't know why we haven't, man.
Because if we invade North Korea, then
it causes stuff with Russia.
Yeah, well, no, they're gonna be like, "Hey, China, can you nuke these guys? We're just trying to, live in peace over here." So, South Korea would get the crap out of them, and then we would fight.
It would
China
be so. Basically, the problem is that for World War III to start, somebody has to push the first domino, and nobody wants to push that first domino. And I will say that I feel like if we were to go to war today, like if the whole world was just like going to crap, I don't think it would be a straight nuclear thing. It would be threatened, but I don't think anybody wants that. What I think would happen is the US, because, and I mean, no offense, not to get political, I just think that Biden would try to stay out of it as long as we could. That's just kind of how Democratic presidents are. If Trump was in office, he would be like, we're sending people right now,
Yeah.
But I mean, there's the whole thing, and I think this has been, I I could have seen, because every time something gets said that has to do with politics, people go back and forth about what's real, fact checking wise. And I believe it was fact checked. I could be wrong, so don't come after me. Like I said, I'm not trying to be political. I'm just trying to state what I believe is facts. Right now, Biden has said that we're going to pull troops out of Afghanistan by September 11th. Trump wanted to do that by May, but because that got delayed, or because that wasn't like reasonable, Biden basically moved that date to September 11th. And everybody's saying that like he's like the way that it was presented was that Biden was taking credit for pulling the troops out, but it was like no, because of COVID, it just hasn't happened yet. Like it was supposed to happen sooner. Like it was supposed to be happening next month. You know.
My mic was muted because there's a plane going by, but
no worries.
But okay, so for starters, somebody had called bullcrap. They're like, yeah, like he's actually gonna do that, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, the fact that he's saying anything about it is kind of nice, but
well, I don't think we only have troops in Afghanistan, which is the thing.
Oh, of course not. That's so... I think that's what they were saying. I don't know if it was you that was saying that, because I remember I think I brought it up to either you or maybe it was one of the mods, but
that might be one of the places where we have the most troops, though.
Yeah,
because I think we have like 2,500 troops there right now.
That's what you always hear. It's like, oh, hey, I'm getting shipped out. It's like, oh, where are you going? Oh, Afghanistan. Or oh, hey, I had a brother or something like that served in Afghanistan, and then they died or whatever, or something like that. Like you hear that a lot, and so yeah, that might be one of the places that probably makes the biggest difference. Also, just to be clear, I'm not saying I had a brother that died in Afghanistan. I'm saying as an example, in case anyone misheard that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I.
So.
What?
I think maybe we'll actually title this World War III, because I think that is a more appropriate title than the end of the world.
Yeah.
We've really focused on the whole World War III thing. But I'm looking at this article. It is the Express Daily the home of the Daily Sunday Express. It's some UK.
What the heck kind of name?
It's some UK like journal website, and this article is titled "World War III Mapped: The 6 Places Where World War III could break out in 2021." Okay. Here are the examples. The first one is U.S. Iran. It says on Friday, January 3rd, the U.S. undertook a drone airstrike following a series of orchestrated attacks on coalition bases in Iraq over the past few months, and attacks on the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, all of which have done on the orders of General Soleimani.
That was last year. Yeah.
So this is from April. This is updated April 20th. Published.
That's today,
Wait, yeah. What? Published April 20th? So this is fresh. Okay. I didn't even realize that. Because I read it this morning. Mm-hmm. So basically it could escalate from there. Because right now it's kind of like in limbo because we just changed presidents. Trump is really hitting on that. Iran, Israel. Tensions between Iran and Israel have been frustrated for a while, with low-intensity warfare raging across the Middle East as a result. The former nation supports an anti-Israel group in Gaza, Syria, and Lebanon in particular. While Israel often strikes at Iranian forces across the region, overall Israel has endeavored to create an anti-Iran coalition at a diplomatic level. So basically, over there, government-wise, it's getting heated pretty bad. And then this one I thought was interesting: U.S. and Turkey. Because you never really hear about Turkey, but it says tensions between the U.S. and Turkey have heightened over the past year as a result of U.S. providing authorization to Turkey to clear the Syrian border. So what it's saying is that the U.S. and Turkey might cause tension with other countries by working together. Because the U.S. basically said, hey, do what you got to do, we'll back you. And so they've basically been sending troops over to like the Syrian border.
Yeah, because at first I thought you were saying that we were going to fight Turkey.
Yeah, I know. That's the way it looks. And then we got Kashmir. In the past 10 years, the relationship between India and Pakistan has worsened, bringing the countries to the brink of war. In 2019, Prime Minister Narendra Modi attempted to reduce the autonomy of Kashmir and change citizenship policies within the rest of India. Bro, that's messed up because you've seen The Terminal, right?
Yeah. With
So with Tom Hanks, yeah.
yeah.
And so you remember the concept of that, right? His country basically overthrows the government, starts a war, and because of that, the government that they try to overthrow basically revokes citizenship of that country, and so he can't go anywhere because he's no longer a citizen of a country.
That
So
freaking
he
sucks,
belongs
dude.
nowhere. Like legally, he can't travel, so he's just stuck at the airport. And that's basically what's going on over there. Is they're like messing with citizenship and stuff like that, which nobody wants because it's like, dude, like you're literally saying I belong nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, it says these steps have caused some unrest within India, in which, like you said, India's got a lot of people. Further domestic disturbances in India and Pakistan could lead to World War III. While this is unlikely, it could lead to terrorist attacks internationally or in Kashmir. Prime Minister Modi might then feel forced to bring on more serious conflict given China's vicinity, and the growing relationship between Delhi and Washington could lead to more disastrous international implications. We got two more. And these are where it starts to get a little juicy. North Korea, U.S. and North Korea. Fundamental tensions at the heart of the U.S.-North Korea relationship could result in combative action. Tensions between the countries now stand as high as any time since 2017, and the U.S. impending U.S. election could imperil relations further. Imperil, sorry. President Trump's administration appears to hold out hope that a deal with North Korea could improve its electoral prospects in November, but North Korea has little to no interest in Mr. Trump's offering. Recently, North Korea promised a Christmas present that many in the United States worried would have been a nuclear or ballistic missile test. However, that was not the case. But, as you may have heard in the news recently, they did another test.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
When they said they said that they were going to be done doing tests, that they didn't want to start anything, but then they did a test recently.
No, this article isn't actually brand new. It's just been edited.
So it's been updated, and they added things to it.
That add to.
So basically, they took the article down and republished it today.
Yeah.
And then it was updated twice, and I think that was just factual stuff that they probably changed. It looks like it with the way it's written. I feel like this was written in January because of the dates and stuff.
I feel like it was written in like September.
Well, it talks about how they didn't.
Do you mean January of this year or last year?
January of this year. Because like January 3rd or something, because it related to a date. I saw a date where it said like January 3rd.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess.
So basically it was saying that let me see, last Thursday, okay.
Thursday.
See, I'm trying to find a date and it doesn't mention the date again. It says if a global pandemic doesn't cause China to calm things down on the South China Sea, there's not much that will. So basically it says despite like everything going on with COVID, they've still kind of
been chugging along.
Yeah, they've kept all their military troops where they are and kept kind of like rotating them out, you know, because obviously they can't keep troops there forever. They have to like send people home. China has admitted that it has a maritime militia and it's a clear violation of international law. So they've admit that like they're breaking treaty policies and stuff by having
which I'm sure the UN is exactly happy about that.
Yeah, but what's the UN doing right now? Because everybody's worried about the pandemic still. It's not like any of it's going away. They're talking about, I mean, in Canada, they're calling it a third wave. And they've talked about that happening here.
Third wave of COVID?
Yeah.
Bro.
All
I'm gonna say is
they said
I'm glad I left Best Buy.
they said this was all gonna be done by the summer, and the summer is almost here, and it's still an issue.
Yeah. So I didn't think it was gonna be done for 2 years, to be honest. That was my.
Well, I was talking to somebody on the podcast, and I said, "Do you think we're gonna do you think the whole U.S. is actually gonna go back to like not having masks by the end of the year?" And I said, "I don't think so."
Yeah.
You know, I feel like there's still gonna be places, especially like California and stuff, where they're just not gonna want to get rid of them. There's one more. If you want to get through that real quick, and it's the one we were talking about.
Quick. So my first shift on my last week at Best Buy, I asked my supervisor, I was like, hey, do you think like we're gonna be done wearing masks soon? And he goes, probably. I don't know. I mean, it might be a while. And I was like, well, let me ask you this. I was like, do you think people are gonna continue to wear masks after COVID? And he goes, you know what? That's a good point. I don't think so. I think there's gonna be people who will still wear masks, but I don't think it'll be like a majority. And I was like, interesting. Because I think that because masks are politicized, that people will purposely continue to wear masks just because like they think it'll be a symbol or something. I don't know.
Well, I definitely think that even if Biden was even if he said, all right, no more masks, there's gonna be a lot of people who still wear them out of habit, out of feeling safe.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going away anytime soon. The interesting thing is I can't wait to see I mean, saying I can't wait sounds bad, but I'm curious how many people have gotten away with like robbery and stuff because everybody's wearing masks now.
I know, dude. I'm thinking the exact same thing. And like I mean, do you like the masks? Do you like wearing them or no?
I don't like wearing them, but they've become normal.
Cuz I like the masks.
I don't. They don't. I mean, you look at what they do, and if you sneeze with a mask on, like they're gonna help a little, but
Well, it's not the point. For me, I like wearing the mask because I just like I guess it makes me feel a little bit like more, or actually, I'd say I feel a little less like I don't want to say the word insecure because I'm not insecure. I just feel I feel more confident going out with the mask because I'm not worried about people looking at my face the entire time. Because obviously, like I have acne, right? And so having to worry about that for some reason, just I don't know. Or like if I make a weird face or something, like it's
my
just,
my thing has always been that I feel like people recognize me, but they don't know for sure because I have a mask on. Because
people still recognize me, yeah.
when I was at the zoo, I don't know if mom and dad told you, but people came up and were like, "Hey, Danny," and and dad was like, "How the hell did they like know? Does he have a mask on and all that stuff?" And I was like, "It's probably because my jacket says Elevate, and so does my mask." So
you have an
represent.
Elevate mask?
Yeah,
I want one.
I think they still have it. But yeah, it's just I guarantee I will bet money on this. I think we're gonna start to see issues where people are gonna get vaccinated, and so they're not gonna wear masks, and then people are gonna start like arguments in public, big like scenes, and be like, "Hey, you don't have a mask on." I'm like, "Well, I'm vaccinated," and they're like, "Oh, show proof." Like, where's your proof? And then because of that, people are saying they're gonna want passports, because there's I was reading. Because I saw that pop up as local news on YouTube. Because when I go on YouTube, it shows local news. It was showing that the University of Albuquerque or New Mexico, whichever, it might be New Mexico, because pretty sure Albuquerque is the capital. Is it?
Well,
it might be Santa Fe.
Well, they have I think you're right. Hold on. Capital New Mexico is Santa Fe.
Santa Fe. Okay, which is like I think an hour and a half from here or something. Or it might be 45 minutes. But basically what I was saying is that they're talking about how when they go back to school after the summer, that they're going to require passports. Vaccine passports.
Well, Mom was talking about how apparently Doug Ducey is not going to make people wear masks in school anymore. Which I don't know how that's supposed to work because you're gonna have some little kid who's picking his nose.
I'm just worried because right now the data supports that it's affecting kids a lot more now, and kids are freaking little. Like I think they even have in some equations where they've talked about like how fast it could spread. They even have an extra.
They have a variable.
They have a variable for kids because the kids are more likely to freaking lick doorknobs and stuff. They're just weird, dude. They do, man. They'll they'll touch something and then stick their finger in their nose and then like wipe it on something.
I'll admit, so no offense, but when Little Man was here, there's times where he would just pick his nose and then he's all, hey, can I see the, like he'll try to like go in my room and stuff like that, and I'm like, dude, did you wash your hands? He's all, no, and I'm like, go wash your hands, bro. Like
I get after him all the time. So with him, he gets like a runny nose because I think he gets allergies. And so he'll have like a runny nose, and he'll be like, and then like just rub it on something nearby. And I'm like, this dude is a little like spreader. He's just spreading like germs.
Yeah, because when I was in middle school, my allergies were really bad. If I was wearing a jacket and I had a runny nose, and I'd like you just wipe it off really quick, I had to learn to like not use my sleeve because it would literally just like start to cake on there, and I was like, oh my god, this is disgusting.
Yeah, it's nasty.
It's nasty, bro. So yeah, I stopped doing that. I was like, I gotta find a like. I think I started bringing like a little packet of tissues or something like that.
Anyways, we got the one last one.
Go for it.
For the World War III article, if you wanna.
Go for it. Yeah.
So U.S. China.
What a surprise!
The U.S.-China relationship has been particularly intense in recent years. A trade deal between the two countries would seem to alleviate some tensions, but implementations remain in question. Currently, the world's two largest economies are locked in a bitter trade battle. The dispute, which has simmered for nearly 18 months, has been the U.S.-China imposed, seen the U.S. and China impose tariffs on hundreds of billions of dollars worth of one another's goods. President Trump has long accused China of unfair trading practices and intellectual property theft, while in China there is a perception that the U.S. is endeavoring to curb its rise as a global economic power. Which, I mean, that's not surprising. In a communist country, all they do is they just say, that the U.S. hates us, and they spread propaganda. So,
well, actually, hold on. To be clear, it's
propaganda definitely gets used here
because they're fascists. Just saying.
And
communism is an economic strategy.
That's not exactly what I was getting at, though. What I was getting at is that in a country where there's so much censorship and control, propaganda is much more easily implemented. Whereas here, I mean, not to get conspiracy political, but I think that the news definitely gets used to do that all the time. So, I mean, it says, can you hear that?
What?
Okay, never mind. It was like little man complaining about something. It says, at the same time, China has worked defiantly to assure that its relations with Russia, while the U.S. has sparked controversies with both South Korea and Japan, its two closest allies in the region. Trump and President XI.
Dude, Russia's population is super tiny.
Yeah, dude, Russia is like the biggest country with like the least amount of people.
Well, it's because most of it's uninhabitable, dude.
Because it's so damn cold there. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I know, bro. Every time they try to invade Russia, everyone just freezes to death.
But how crazy is it that with as small as the population of Russia is, they have the most nukes out of the whole world?
Okay, all I'm going to say is, I got 3D printers, right? You can make that crap. I'm one person, just make a bunch of crap with 3D printers, right? Doesn't mean it's high quality, right? So just because they make nukes doesn't mean they're good nukes.
Even a bad nuke can do destruction.
The bad nuke's probably worse.
Bad nuke's probably worse because it's probably gonna detonate early or something, like.
Oh god!
So instead of like blowing up an area, we just get nuclear fallout over a twice as big size of an area.
So a bad nuke, the way that works is instead of it being like a giant explosion with very little radiation, it's a small explosion or a big explosion with a ton of radiation, which is what a dirty bomb is.
A dirty bomb? That's a dirty bomb. Yeah.
Dirty bomb.
You dirty bomb.
Well, to be fair, the Tsar Bomba, the largest nuclear weapon ever detonated, it was actually supposed to be like twice as big, but they neutered it so that it wouldn't like destroy the planet.
Well, dude, one thing that was crazy. Let me get back to this because this whole section is important. But it says Donald Trump and President XI, which I don't know how to say. Is it Xi?
Xi.
President Xi has staked much of their political reputations on the trade situations in each country, and therefore both both have incentives for diplomatic and economic escalation. So both us and China see that there is stuff to gain by escalating. But at the same time, we don't want to escalate it because it could, like I said, nobody wants to push that first domino. If the situation were to escalate, it could lead to military confrontation in areas such as south of the East China Seas. I 100% think that if World War III were to break out, it would start in the sea. We would be sending rockets at at each other's battleships and stuff to begin with. That's why I think it's a really bad time to be in the Navy.
Hold on, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing the name right.
So
It is
I think
Chi.
it's okay.
Hey!
All right.
Thank you, Ape World History, for teaching me that
so
one thing.
It says, while some people may have thought that the tensions would de-escalate, the tension has escalated amid the
Yes.
coronavirus pandemic. With Trump having accused the country of engineering the fatal infection in a laboratory. He claims to have seen evidence corroborating the developmental coronavirus from a Chinese lab. See, and Trump says that he saw evidence that that's exactly what happened. But I mean,
Yeah,
you
but
saw,
you know how
but I
Trump
mean,
is.
yes, but you saw that. I mean, on the way in, I'm not saying that I like Trump or anything. Don't get me wrong. I think Trump
Right.
talked way too much. Got a big. He was a lot of bark and he could talk the talk, but he couldn't walk the walk a lot of times.
It's funny though.
The only time that he ever really shined was with his like trade stuff and like anytime it had to do with something that was like business tactics. He was really good at that because he's a businessman. But it says Trump announced Trump had announced that the United States was devising a strict response to China's proposed national security legislation for Hong Kong that would be revealed very soon. And that was like the last thing that happened right before the whole Capitol thing. And then Trump basically they were like, get him out of here.
The thing is though, with China and Hong Kong, I think if China was like, we're going to war with the United States, well, what essentially happened is a bunch of people would go, are you stupid? And then they would like revolt. And you'd have like resistance in China.
I don't know, man, because like I said, there's a lot of China that is just they've been raised with the idea that like the US is evil and wants to stop them from becoming.
When you see what happened in Hong Kong, people hear about that. I'm sure obviously the internet is not as free over there, right? But like it's obviously I've never been there. I didn't grow up there or anything like that. So I don't know how ingrained it is. But like, I mean, there's plenty of people from China who come here as tourists and they're like, oh my God, this place is amazing, right? And like, I'm sure if people were like, hey, we're going to war with the United States, they'd be like, what? Like, are you guys dumb? What are you doing? But
so the thing is, though, is you have to understand that when you see those big Chinese, sounds messed up saying like this, but you see those families from China at like Disneyland.
Yeah.
Those are the Chinese families that have money. Those aren't the people that are working in the factories and they're raised, you know, they're literally, there's a generation now in China that has been raised with the idea that the US is evil and wants to stop China from remaining as like the biggest economic power. Because they are right now. They control so much of the goods worldwide. A lot of stuff is made in China. And like I said, President Trump was trying to stop a lot of the manufacturing of goods in the US coming from China and Mexico. He was trying to stop all that because he felt like that was part of the reason why we had fallen behind, is because we were outsourcing everything.
Yeah.
He's like, it would bring more jobs and but the problem is it's more expensive to do everything here. Absolutely more expensive.
Yeah, and that's why like they propose all the UBI and stuff like that, which I want to say right now, I think at this point we kind of need it, because like, bro, like I said, the 3D printing thing, if I had a bunch of those and all of my products were like entirely plastic, like if I was a company that was doing that, right? Yeah, I don't need to hire people. Maybe a couple people who would do maintenance on the printers, but I don't need to hire a single person. So when no one's getting any jobs, first off, that means no one has money to buy crap. And also, if someone did want to start a company and they didn't have a job because they couldn't get one, they're screwed. So
yeah, you can go back and forth with a lot of stuff. It's a mess, man. And everybody thinks they have the right solution, but every solution has its own cons, you know? Yeah. All I know is that the last thing we should want is a country, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, and I like to consider myself a moderate. I see arguments on both sides that make sense and seem fair, I think that both sides have their extremes, and I definitely don't care for a lot of those extremes. And one thing is that I think the worst thing we could do in a time like this is lay down and let China just walk over us. Like, it's just not.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not. It's not. I mean, it's not good for anybody.
I think the chances of us just going, all right, guys, just walk all over us, they're super low, because you know how Americans are. You know, if someone's like, oh, Americans are stupid, most people are like, how dare you? What, bro? How many wars have you won, right? Like, that's just usually how we are. And the instant China's like, we're gonna take over, we're gonna be like, dude, not happening. Not happening at all. But I don't think we've had a war with China. Like, I don't think the last time someone had a war with China was World War II, and that's when China was like still kind of behind on a lot of stuff.
So if you type in when will World War III start, there is dozens of I believe at least a dozen articles that I saw where it was people saying that technically you could say it had already started with the trade.
World War III has already begun.
Yeah.
Like, fourth article down. Yeah.
Yeah, with the trade stuff, with the pandemic, everything, it's just like stuff is really tense right now. But
yeah, and it's not like isn't it Pearl Harbor where like the movie where the planes start crashing into like all the ships, and then like of course for starters we're talking about Pearl Harbor that was directed by like Michael Bay, right?
Well, they started torpedoing them. They weren't crashing into them.
Well, the bottom line is what had happened was in that movie. I swear, maybe I'm imagining this, but there's literally a scene where one guy turns to the other and he goes, "I think World War II just started," or something like that. And I'm like, that's not what happened. They weren't just like, "Well, World War II just started." It was like,
yeah, it was definitely just a movie. They were saying that because the World War II, and at that time, everybody was saying World War II already started. It was just, when was the U.S. going to step in? Because when the U.S. stepped into World War I, it was the beginning of the end of the war.
Because same thing happened with World War II, yeah.
Because everybody over there in that country was just like I mean, they were starving, they were all sick, low supplies, all this stuff, and then we just show up with like fresh, fat troops. Not fat, but you know what I mean. Like, they were all healthy and like well fed. Yeah, and not only that, the U.S. has always been like, all right, we're gonna come kick your ass. Like we were
the ones that were making all the guns.
Yeah.
So we had tons of stuff to use. Yeah,
it was it was a big deal when we stepped in World War I. So everybody back when World War II was heating up in like the late, what was it, like 39? I think 39 was really when people were like, all right, when is the US gonna step in? Because it was just inevitable. Because at the time we were the biggest, we ran the world, to say the least.
And we had already technically jumped into World War II because we were supplying the Allies with. Why are there so many freaking planes? What is going on?
World War III.
Yeah, I know, right? But we were already supplying the Allies with weapons.
Yeah.
Like that. And so we had already joined in a way. It's just that we had indirectly joined. We hadn't actually jumped in. And so the instant that Japan was like, we're gonna start, kamikazing you guys, you were like, okay, now we have an excuse, and then we started fighting. So I that's the thing though. There's never been a world war that we've had where we've been the first ones to get involved, right?
Yeah.
And so unless it was like China was like to suddenly just try and invade us, right? And then India stepped in, like pretty much there's no way we're gonna have, I guess, an advantage or whatever, right? Because
and like I said,
small compared to China.
And this is not political. It's not a political bias. It's just kind of how the parties are right now. If stuff were to start heating up, we would definitely not be the first ones to make a move, because Biden would not be for it at all. He would be like, we need to de-escalate this,
I'll say one thing. Every single time that a world war has happened, the country that has started it first lost.
Well, I mean, there's only been 2 world wars. And I'm pretty sure they were both Germany. It was both Germany lost twice. They started it and lost twice. Bro,
What, dude?
you know,
Do you hear this crap?
I was gonna say before we end the podcast, I was gonna say for people who don't know, I mean, we're from a military town, so
Yeah.
if you start seeing a lot of military exercises or stuff, it's an air station too. So if you start seeing a lot of plane maneuvers and stuff, it might be training for something.
Yeah. Because we've got a ton of crap over here, dude. Well, I remember the first time I saw a helicopter here, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. That was like a couple years ago though. But that's still
Yeah.
scary to think about when you see a full-on freaking military helicopter. You're like, what's going on, bro? Because planes are normal.
When I think of like World War III, I immediately think of that I can't remember the movie. I can't remember what it's called, but it's the one where like China, like I think it's either North Korea or
Red
China.
Dawn?
Red Dawn, yeah. Is it China or is it North Korea in that movie?
Pretty sure it's China.
They literally just
Yeah.
start paratrooping into like U.S. neighborhoods, killing people in the
Yeah,
streets.
Red Dawn. But
Yeah.
you're talking about the one from 1984 or the newer one?
So the one from 1984 is the Russians, and then they made did a remake of it, and it was China.
Is that the one with Josh Peck?
Yeah.
Was it Josh Peck?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, was that one even good?
I don't remember. It had Chris Hemsworth in it too, I think.
Yeah, I thought that was him. He just looked way too skinny.
It was before Thor, I think.
Yeah. It's 2012, I think.
I gotta.
Yeah.
Oh no, so it would be around Thor when he started to get popular.
His
I,
hair
I
is really short in it though.
yeah, I think I gotta watch that again because I'm curious to see like how it played out in that.
It's like you're trying to see into the future by watching Red Dawn.
Oh. Okay. And then the other thing I was gonna say is I always think of like Modern Warfare 2 with the Russians. You know, like you're like literally driving through neighborhoods, like shooting at troops and
Dude,
houses and stuff.
or like in Ghosts.
Oh yeah, that's crazy too.
Well, the one thing from Modern Warfare, the one that always sticks out to me is when I think they're in Paris, right? And then like that car stops and then it explodes and there's just like this gas attack. That's effed up, dude. Modern Warfare, I need to play those games, dude. I need to play them again.
I gotta
haven't
play
played
through
them
that campaign again now that like,
Yeah.
because I think when I first played through it, I can't. I was still in the military, so I didn't play through it all at once. Like I kind of
Wait.
played a little bit.
Modern Warfare
2019,
like,
dude.
I'm not talking about that one.
Yeah, I know, but
That one,
that
yeah.
campaign is sick, bro.
I didn't like it.
Really?
I felt like it was way too cliche. Like there were some cool missions, but the story was way too cliche.
Well, I think that Modern Warfare 2 is gonna be like World War 3, like the other one was. So
No, that was Modern Warfare 3. That was World War 3. Because I
Well,
remember the
Modern
trailer where
Warfare 2 was the
M
start of
flipped
it.
upside down. I was like, it's just like, oh no.
the gnome, the gnome.
Yeah.
Oh.
But dude, like, oh my god. Yeah, I need to play through that entire series again. Because when I played Modern Warfare Remastered and I played through the campaign, I was like, dang man, I never got to experience this when I was younger. Because pretty much all I remember playing was all gillied up because that was the cool mission, right? And I was like 9, and
No, that trilogy, besides the third one, obviously being kind of half-assed because there was so much going on with the lawsuit and like people
there was a lawsuit?
getting.
Dang man. Was I remember was it Robert Dowling that left?
Yeah, he left like in the middle of that. But basically, I think Vince Zampella and then somebody else. It was like the two head people at Infinity Ward. Basically, got caught delaying, and obviously we don't hear about it being delayed. Like they just tell us, "Oh, this is the date," you know, and like it technically should have been out weeks before that. And what happened was they actually delayed their DLC because they had like made like a under the table deal with EA and Battlefield. They're like, oh yeah, we'll push it off to give you guys a chance to like. There was something going on. I don't know. They were basically friends with the people at EA,
And that's where Replay Entertainment came from.
Yep.
That's exactly where it came from.
And let's be fair, like the Titanfall games are good, but they just didn't reach anywhere near the popularity.
If Titanfall 3 comes out, it's gonna blow up.
I hope so. That's what they said about Titanfall 2.
Well, yeah, but now that Apex Legends is out,
Yeah,
because it's made of the same people.
more
so.
people be on board. But what was I gonna say? The last thing I wanted to talk about was, I don't know if you saw, but once again, we got some pictures and footage of a UFO that got declassified and
What?
acknowledged. There was some like night vision footage of a triangle-shaped UFO.
This
That I
March
can
23rd.
we can actually, if you want to pull up the picture or whatever it is, we can react to it.
Can you send it to me? That way I know if I'm getting the right one. That way I can just screen share it.
I don't even know for sure. Triangle shaped UFO. Our government basically said it's real, and we don't know what it is. It's not ours. He said it's not ours. Here it is.
Have any other countries said anything about it or no?
I don't think so. Let me here. I'm gonna send it to you, and then there you
Pause
go.
it?
No, I said stream paused. Okay, so this is. You see this?
What the heck is that, bro?
It's 3 lights, dude.
Is that a freaking Dorito?
The panic. Yeah. So,
Bro.
and that they're saying that it looks like UAPs.
And of course they say UAP, so it's actually like current. Bro.
Yeah, that they said that is real.
Ah, dude.
Did they say where it was? This is CNN, so they're super vague about stuff.
I can check in a second. I want to at least see the rest of this. Or is it just showing older footage?
I don't know.
Hold on, let me go back to the beginning then. Because all I'm seeing is it's from a Navy pilot.
Pause it right there.
Oh, well, thanks for telling me that. Like,
Sorry.
after, hold on. Pause it.
Right there. So do you see? I see 3 triangles, not just one.
No, I see one triangle. Oh, do you mean like
It's
right,
in the
right
shape.
here?
Like I think we're
right
seeing.
Here, right here,
right
here.
I think what they're focusing on is just the front has like a pulsating light on it, but I think that thing is huge.
You mean
I think that whole triangle
like a
is a
freaking Star
freaking.
Destroyer, bro? Ah,
It's okay. So
dude.
it's either one giant triangle or there's 3 flying in a formation.
It's either one of those big Doritos or one of the crumbs.
Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like it's either a formation or
Yeah.
it's one giant triangle.
Oh, don't
Because
say
it's
that,
moving in
man.
unison.
Is
But
it?
that one, yeah, but look, that one is. They keep zooming in on the one that's flashing.
That's not moving in unison, dude.
It looks like it to
Look,
me.
No, the back two are going forward, and this one's just staying still. Look at this. So
Oh, they move apart from each other. I don't know if that's a
That's
reflection or if that's some kind of.
it could be a reflection, but it's still creepy either way.
It's an
Especially
alien
'cause
armada.
Dude, the fact that it's flashing means that it's not like.
You ready to switch back?
The fact that it's flashing means that something is like it has to be man-made.
You have to
because
close
usually
that.
pulses like that were synchronized or not.
You have to close. We have to close that.
Oh.
Close the screen share. There you
go. Yeah, dude, that's.
Where does it say where that was filmed?
That's what I'm looking at right now.
It says that was leaked.
It did say Navy, so I mean, obviously it's out in the freaking ocean.
It says it was leaked though. Like it wasn't supposed to be released yet.
And video of unidentified. Yeah, it doesn't specifically say where.
So did you hear what Snowden said?
No.
I think I think it was Snowden who said that he looked and he said that either he didn't have the clearance for that stuff or those programs were or those things were completely kept separate from like all of the database that the CIA uses.
The thing is, though, Snowden, I don't. Didn't they say they were gonna pardon him and then they never did?
No, people were saying that if it would look good on Trump if he pardoned him because Snowden caused a
Which
lot
why
of
didn't
changes. They
why
they
didn't he
had to
pardon?
they had to disclose and change stuff because they were like, all right, yeah, we're overstepping bounds.
But we never pardoned him just because he didn't have
Nope,
a reason to.
that dude is still hiding somewhere.
I mean, that sucks for him. But the thing is, like, even if he did get pardoned, he probably wouldn't come back.
Yeah, I don't think
I
too many
wouldn't
people want
either,
him dead.
Yeah,
If I was him, I wouldn't.
yeah. I mean, does he at least have like donations coming in to keep him going?
I mean,
Like,
that
I know
dude,
he has books,
that dude is gonna have to hide for the rest of his life.
which that sucks, man.
Yeah,
At least he gets like attention for it. Like people are like, hey man, like
yeah,
look
but
what's really good.
he can't trust anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, which he must have to go through like 4 different VPNs or something before he does like a video interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
But anyways, yeah, the world is crazy, man. There's a lot going on. A lot of people focused on the COVID thing and going back to school and work, and
Well,
not so
'cause
much
you know
about what's
what?
going on outside of all that.
So, the theory that I always had, I think we talked about this on the UFO episode, that the alien episode, I should say, which was that was the first episode, wasn't it?
Think
Yeah.
so. We talked about Bob Lazar in
Uh,
Area 51.
Pretty sure that what I had mentioned at one point was that I'm like 90% sure it's not actually aliens when we see crap like that. It's just a country that's like that's got really good tech and just isn't admitting it. And it could be us, or it
I
could be
don't.
a different country that we're not friends with. But that, cause I mean, like,
I mean, I can see if I can find. I have a video that scared the crap out of me the first time I saw it. I don't know if this is gonna get kept in, but we couldn't find the video that I was looking at, and we both kind of have to go. So, um, yeah, World War III, UFOs,
dude, that rabbit hole freaks me out now. I'm
the
gonna
black,
like look
yeah,
at that all night, bro.
the triangle UFO rabbit hole. Just the fact that they had acknowledged footage of one opens a big door.
I'm so creeped out.
The thing is like there's nothing we can do about it. They're just here. You know?
Unless it's like, you know, something that's secret that the government's doing. Which
I don't believe the government can keep secrets like that without somebody saying something. It's just not. I mean, look at Snowden.
Well, unless it's not our government.
I mean, like I said, look at China and the whole COVID thing. Like, there's so many people talking about like whistleblowing and stuff like that about everything.
Yeah, but that's because they have a reason to. If you're making spacecraft that is like super, not spacecraft.
I mean, Bob
aircraft,
Lazar said something.
Yeah, but people don't believe him still.
A lot more people do than they did.
That's
Than
fair.
did, you know. So,
That's fair.
in June they're supposed to release a bunch of stuff. They're supposed to declassify a bunch. That was a part of that bill, that COVID relief bill.
Yeah, it's true.
Was the UAP declassification.
Uh,
So we'll see what happens. We'll definitely have to do an episode where we deep dive on that.
oh man.
Oh man. Oh
That's
yeah,
what-
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But all right, that's gonna be it for this episode. Until next week.
Later, guys.
Peace.